um, it's going to sound hectic if I tell you or ask you to give away your direct referrals. But it's really the best plan to maximize your binary bonus, your P1 and the P2. So what I'm saying is, with this opportunity or with this plan we have, if you want to call it that, every single person in your downline is going to become a P1 and a P2 for you. So we're going to give away your referrals, your direct referrals, and not only you. We're going to expect that from your downline, from their downline, from everybody in your downline or in your team. We're going to expect them. That's their choice, obviously, to give away your direct referrals in order to build your binary. And if I say that, just go think for yourself. If you have 20 people in your downline, so you're 20 levels deep, but you haven't got volume, Bitcoin volume in your binary leg, you're wasting money, you're leaving money on the table. So you've got to fill up your binary tree to the max to get the binary bonus out of it. So we're going to show you tonight, and then ek is 'n boer met 'n plan. I'm a man with a plan. So because of my English, I asked my daughter to do the presentation. So I'm not going to do it. If I'm going to do it, it's going to take some time. So I asked my daughter Lizaan. She myself worked out this whole structure. So please, guys, bear with us. If there's questions, just write them down till we're finished, and then we can all open the floor for questions. So I'm going to ask Lizaan. She's been in this business the same time as me, about 6 months, and she did amazingly well. I'm a bit ahead of her, but I'm pretty sure that she's going to catch up with me in the next few weeks, and she's going to go past me like a bullet, because she's working her butt off in the Cape, and she's got a hell of a team, and that team is growing by 30 and 40 people per day, every day. So she's the leader in the team in the Cape, in the Western Cape, and she's doing quite well. So I'm going to ask Lizaan to do the presentation tonight, and please have your pen and paper ready. And if something sounds ridiculous, just bear with us. We'll show you why we do that. It's really going to work for you. And I promise you, afterwards, you will see the growth in your team. You will see the Bitcoin grow. You will see the members grow. Because if you take, we call them deadwood. If there's somebody in the team that's not a builder, just an investor, we're going to take that guy. We're going to give some of our referrals away, and we're going to make him a P1 and P2. And the moment he realizes that his team is actually, or his Bitcoin is actually growing, and he's receiving binaries and P1s, that guy, we're going to change his mind. We're going to change his mindset, and he's going to become a builder. So we want to try and get everybody in your downline to be a builder, and we're going to get everybody P1 and P2 qualified, and we're going to receive a decent binary at the end of this whole practice. So please, I'm going to give it over to Lizaan, and let's show you what we do. Okay.
Hi guys, thank you for all being here. It's a big privilege to be in the spotlight after only 4.5 months, well, let's call it 5 months in the business. So little bit about me. I've heard about MTI in November last year. I went to another presentation in January in Stellenbosch, where I was fortunate enough to see Johan Steinberg do the presentation himself, and I really didn't know what I was looking at. And only mid-March this year, when my situation was quite dire and I really needed a solution, and my mentor and friend in business gave me a call and said, Lizaan, have you looked at MTI? And thank God he did, because it really turned around my life. Why I ended up really understanding the binary system so well. Yes, I have been in previous network marketing companies where I've been in uni-level systems, I've been in matrix systems. Binary is really the best, if you haven't figured. But the reason why I really needed to in-depth study the MTI binary system is because when I started my upline, we are like a group of investors and networkers that share opportunities with each other. So when one guy goes on to the next system or a good opportunity, we bring each other in, and we kind of try to keep the same structure. So when I came into MTI, it wasn't necessarily, my upline wasn't necessarily there to build. They were just there because that's what the group is doing. So I ended up, because we didn't know all the ins and outs of the MTI system and the binary structure, I ended up in my upline's inside leg. So all of our builders, all of our team leaders joined each other in the power leg, and Lizaan, I don't know how, I ended up in our leaders group on the inside leg of one of them. So I completely missed out on the whole group effort to build a power leg together. So I didn't realize really what the effect of that was. I was quite blind, and Rory just said to me, go for it. And I just put my head down and I worked for it. And I kind of expected spillover from my upline, and only like 2.5 months in, I realized that I don't have a single spillover from my upline. So the situation where I'm in, the reason why my dad is ahead of me is because I ended up having to build my own power leg. I literally have one spillover from my upline, and only because I asked her for it. I have one spillover from my upline. The rest of my power leg I built myself, and only recently have I started earning on my binary leg actually. So in terms of work, and in terms of the amount of footwork that I've done, the amount of directs I've worked with, I should be earning pretty much the same as my dad is earning, but because of that, the inside leg, I've had to work 3 times as hard for 1/3 of the income. So I've been really in the trenches, and I've had to find ways to optimize my earning in the situation that I'm in. So if something like that would ever happen to you, just as a little heads up to prevent what's happened to me happening to you, it's really kind of a sponsor to place a potential business builder in a power leg. And if you do place a potential business builder in an inside leg, please do them the favor, and please do your job and help them build the power leg, because it's really an unfair situation for a builder to have to end up building their own power leg. If you end up ever registering someone on the wrong side of your business, just re-register them in a different place without funding. That account will fall away. Just use a different username, because that's how simple it would have been for me to solve that problem instead of ending up in the situation that I'm in. But because I didn't know it, I didn't do it. But I'm thankful for it. Having built my business to this point all alone is quite liberating. And of course, I've learned stuff that I never would have learned if I landed in a sweet spot and in a comfort zone. So without further ado, I realize that we have some experienced business builders here, and we also have some quite new people in the binary system. So for new people in the binary system, I just want to quickly explain to you, in MTI, how does the binary system work, and how do we determine which is your power leg and which is your pay leg? So firstly, if this is you, if you're in your upline's right side, it makes this leg your power leg, because it means if this person is you, if your upline, this is you, and this is upline. If your upline were to add someone in their right leg, it would end up here, okay? So this is the leg where you can experience spillover. So if that was your business, then this would be your inside legs. So I like to talk about outside legs and inside legs instead of talking about power legs and pay legs, because it could very well flip over, and this could be your power leg if the outside leg is not strong enough. So if we talk about strong legs and weak legs, or power legs and pay legs, it doesn't really give the person that you're talking to, say for instance, someone in my team is asking for help, and they're asking, should I place this person in my pay leg and my power leg? It doesn't give me the perspective to understand where in the business this person is lying. So it really helps when we talk about outside leg and inside leg. Now, if you ask me, Lizaan, I need to place someone, where do I place them? My outside leg is weaker than my inside leg, then I know exactly what we're talking about. So I'll be talking about outside and inside legs, and then referring to either of those as power legs. So if you are in your upline's right hand business, it makes your right side the ideal power leg. It might switch over, but it's important then for you to monitor which one is which, because ideally this needs to be the power leg, because that will benefit everyone else in this leg. So the way we measure whether something is a power leg or a pay leg is not in the amount of people in each of your teams, okay? We measure power leg and pay leg, weak leg and strong leg, by the BTC volume in that leg. Okay, so if this leg here was 2 BTC volume, 2 Bitcoin in the entire leg that was built here, and this one is 1 Bitcoin, then obviously your inside leg is your weaker leg, and you will be earning binary off this side. If you bring a strong builder in here, and they suddenly bring in 5 Bitcoin into your inside leg, then you need to start watching, because that might switch over which side you earn on. And it's happened in the past month to both my dad and myself, which was a good thing for both of us, luckily. But if this Bitcoin volume goes to 3 and this one stays on 2, then your outside leg will become your weaker leg, and your binary will start to be earned on the outside. So that's why it's quite important for us to keep an eye on this. The reason why mostly you want to be earning, most people, I'm not saying all of them, most people want to be earning on the inside is because you have full control over what happens on the inside of your leg, because your upline cannot do placements here. But you have very little control over what happens in your outside leg, because there might be 10 people above you doing placements in this leg. So you can't control the quality of placements that are being done in this leg. And because so many people are making placements here, it fills up quite quickly. So you ideally want to have this leg stronger so that you have full control over what quality placements you put in your inside leg. Now, why are we so concerned over the quality of the placements in your inside leg? If you have looked at the binary system in MTI, you'll know that there are certain levels. So if you have a $200, if you are above $200 and under $1,000, so let's make it, I'm gonna $999, okay? This gives you 10 levels deep binary, okay? If you go $1,000 to $4,999, that gives you 20 levels deep binary earnings. And if you go $5,000 to $9,999, that gives you 30 levels deep. And the moment you go over $10,000, and this is all trading pool, in your personal trading pool balance, okay? If you go over 10,000, you go to infinity levels binary earnings. Okay, so now most of us struggle to get to that 1,000. If you're lucky enough to enter the business on 1,000, then you start with 20 levels. It doesn't mean that you have to be less stingy with your levels. It just means you have a bit more of playing field. But most of us start with only 10 levels. Now, if you are going to be earning all of your income off only 10 levels, then you really need to micromanage how you build those 10 levels. So let's draw, Papa, can we add soon? Let's draw 10 levels here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Oh, sorry. My cat is all over the show. So those are your 10 levels. Now, obviously, this side, I'm not going to draw everything out, but this side is continued. This is your power leg. Okay, so let's assume for this, this example that your power leg remains your strong leg. And this can be 20 Bitcoin and 10 Bitcoin, or 200 Bitcoin and 100 Bitcoin. So that can be anything, okay? If you're only going to be earning off this, obviously, anyone placed on level number 11 is not going to be paying you, okay? So firstly, you don't want to do any placements on your direct referral link outside of your 10 levels, because that money, literally, it's going to build this volume, but it's not going to be on your qualified level. So you might have 100 Bitcoin in this leg, but it doesn't help you have 100 Bitcoin in this leg, and you're adding more to the bottom if you're still only earning on 1. So we want all of that 100 Bitcoin to literally lie here. So this side of your business doesn't count at all. We're going to keep it all on this side. If you actually go and count the levels, count the positions that are available in your first 10 levels, someone did the count the other day. I haven't actually done it myself, but this friend of mine said to me that there's more than 2,000 spots available before you reach 10 levels before you reach 10 levels. So there's a lot of space there. If 2,000 people bring in their Bitcoin, that gives you a heck of a binary leg. Okay, so hopefully your power leg can manage that, but obviously you have the option to place in your power leg to make sure that you that remains stronger than here. So what do? We don't have, like when I started my MTI business, I didn't have leadership teaching me how to build. So I just went and just aimed for 200 directs. I'm not saying 200 directs is a bad thing. I'm just saying that 11 directs, number 11 is completely useless to you if you have not earned P1 and P2 shares on the first 10. If your first 5 people have not paid you P1s and P2s, then why are you directly referring another person at all? You want to P1 and P2 every single direct that you have. So the first question that comes up, okay, I have 5 directs and I'm willing to give away, but now this big investor comes and I really want that direct referral fee. If you get a big investor that comes in, I hope that all of you are doing this. Yes, we're in the business of making money, but short-sightedness is going to cost you money in the long run. If you got a big referral coming in and you really don't want to lose that direct referral fee, firstly, it's a very good idea for you to have one of the positions in your first 10 levels, preferably as high up as possible. Have a position in your binary leg, in your weak leg, in your inside leg. Have a position for yourself. It can be your son, your daughter, your aunt, your uncle, a friend who's not interested in MTI. Ask them for the permission to use their name and ask them to figure it for you when it comes along, and please do get it on black and white, because when money comes in, people get a bit funny. But like, I have 2 kids and I got one in this leg and one in this leg registered for myself, so I have a lot of control over the Bitcoin volume in my 2 legs. And also if I have filled up my 10 levels and I want to give away a big investor, I can still keep it in my 10 levels, still get the direct referral, instead of placing it in number 11 just because I want the direct referral fee, but it falls outside of my binary. So hopefully when you get a big investor, your advice to them will be to register themselves 3 accounts, okay? The idea with registering 3 accounts, and this is actually suggested by MTI themselves, so it's not just something that I figured out here. If your big investor opens 3 accounts for themselves, this person in this inside leg, their power leg is going to be here, okay? The leg that they share with their upline is their power leg, okay? So the next person that this upline places is going to be there, which makes this their power leg. If you get a big investor and they want to make get optimal returns from their investment, the right thing to do would be to advise this investor to open 3 accounts for themselves, have about $230 in each of these accounts, okay? The $30 is there just to make sure that when the Bitcoin price drops a little bit, they remain over the 200. Why 200? P1 and P2, okay? That's where you want people to be on P1 and 2. We'll do a P1 and P2 explanation just now. But your big investor should have they should have 200 there, 200 there, and the maximum amount in this account. Why? Because that's in their inside leg. Hopefully this power leg is strong enough, and if it's not, you have to make a plan for them and help them there. But they want to be earning binary off their own money. So that will give them the average of 10% there per month in trading bonuses. The average of 10% bonuses there and there, so they won't lose anything on trading bonuses. But through doing this, they can earn an extra binary on this. If they have, say this is their wife, their son, and they have 2 daughters, for instance, let them do that. Why? Because they can now take another amount of money, place it there and there, all in their binary leg, still earn the binary. But this person, because that's on 200 plus, that's on 200 plus, that's on 200 plus, that triangle gives account number 1 a P1 share. Okay, so this is how we want to be advising our big investors. Now, where I started this little big investor story was, what about the big referral fee that this big investor brings in? If you are advising your big investor correctly, they will be getting their own big referral and not you. So in the short run, you will be losing out on a referral commission on a 10%, but in the long run, having them do this, they will earn you a lot more in P1 and P2 shares, because what happens here, if this person, if this profile is leadership binary qualified, the moment this person earns a P1, that one earns a P2. And in the meantime, you would have already earned your P1 there. So in the P1, P2, and binary bonuses, you will earn a lot more in the long run than you would have earned by placing this person in your 11th level just because you wanted the direct referral fee. I hope that the direct referral bonus. I hope that that makes sense to you guys. So let's quickly just look at P1s and P2s. I'm just going to start another page here. So the binary bonuses, I hope most of you understand. I'm going to draw it out here anyways. So there's two different qualifications. Oh, that one's brand new and dry. Okay, there's two different qualifications. There's a binary qualification, okay? When you are binary qualified, what does that mean? If you want to be binary qualified and earn an extra percentage or an extra amount, it's not a percentage really, off your weaker leg, okay? Let's make it that this person's weaker leg is this side. So this is upline, this is you. Okay, if you want to be earning an extra amount off your inside leg, that means you want to be binary qualified. A binary qualification means that you have to have $200 worth of Bitcoin in your own account, $100 worth of Bitcoin on your direct left, and $100 worth of Bitcoin on your direct right. This will make you binary qualified, which means every Saturday you will earn an extra amount on whatever is on your inside leg. Now, if you want to become leadership binary qualified, okay, I'm going to do this in green. So if you want to become leadership qualified, or actually leadership binary qualified like that, then this is still fine on 200, but you need your direct left and your direct right to have $200 in this account and $200 in this account. This makes you eligible for P1 and P2 leadership bonuses, okay? P1 and P2 leadership bonuses. Now the P1 pays you for 8 weeks and the P2 pays you until infinity. So these are worked out on their own formulas, and I'm going to show you how they look just now. So now you are leadership binary qualified. At this point, you don't earn anything more than you've been earning, but you have the possibility of earning more. How do I earn a P1 share? A P1 share is going to be earned if I now motivate my direct referrals to do the same thing and become...
Waarom gaan hierdie prentjie aan mekaar weg?
Do you need help or can we go ahead?
Well, but every time someone signs in, you just vanish, and I was wondering why.
Are you on speaker view?
I'm on speaker now, y'all. But I mean, everything was fine until someone signs in, then you just go away.
No, Rosie, someone is talking.
I can still hear you, but I cannot see you anymore.
Rosie, someone is talking, so that's why the picture goes up to the main screen. Everyone, please mute yourself so that we can carry on with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So you want to earn a P1 share. So the way you do that, you are now leadership binary qualified because you have 200, 200, 200. At this point, you're not yet earning anything more, but you have the capability, or there is a possibility for you to earn more. Now, to earn a P1 share, you want to motivate your direct person, whether they're on the left, on the right. You want to motivate them to also become leadership binary qualified. So to have a $200 person in there and a $200 person in there. By creating this triangle of $200, this person earns a P1 share that runs for 8 weeks, okay? The 8 weeks P1 share pays you a little bit extra to help you along the way so that you can, in the meanwhile, go on and build yourself a P2 share. Now, how does a P2 share work? A P2 share is when this happens on your second level. So this has happened on your first level, making it a P1, P first, okay? Now for a P2 to happen, this needs to happen on your second level. So that happens when this person now goes and motivates their direct left and direct right to build the same little leadership binary qualified triangle. As soon as that happens, this triangle earns this person a P1 because that's on their first level. They get a P1, but you now get a P2. The sooner this happens, it's really nice when your P1s and P2s run simultaneously. It really adds up to a lot. My P1s and P2s at this point, I also didn't learn this too long ago. My P1s and P2s at this point pay me between, I don't know, 2,000 and 3,000 Rand a week, which is a really nice bonus. So I hope you guys all understand now. This can happen if this were to happen on the other side too. Let me just clarify this for you. If your left person does the same and they have the 200s and they are now leadership binary qualified, what does that mean for the upline? Because this person has these two as directs, you can only earn P1s and P2s on your directs, okay? So because this green one and this green one is the red one's directs, this person can earn a P1 on this one and on this one. So that will mean that that person now earns 2 P1 shares, okay? What does that mean for his upline? His upline will still only earn 1 P2. Why? Because this is only one of your directs. You can't earn 2 P2 shares on one direct. Even though he's got 2 P1 shares, you can only earn 1 P2 share on that person, okay? So when you build inwards, like we're going to show you just now, when you build inwards, this is really as far as you have to go until all of your directs in your first 10 levels have got this in place. Then you can go and build further. But this is really, you want to get these 3 triangles under each one of your directs, okay? So if you sit here, let's go back to this one. I think we can go back here. If this is you, and these are direct, so let's say that this is your direct, okay? Now, of course, this person, okay, no, these are all your directs. This is your direct, and this is your direct, okay? This person was maybe, so let's do this, direct there and direct there. This person was maybe brought in by that one, okay? So you can see already not all of these levels are going to be your directs because each of us to get this qualification needs to place someone in our left leg. The next one could very well be this person making a placement there. So now there's 2 gaps where you haven't placed directs. You've only got 2 directs, but 4 of your levels are already full. So you can see how this quickly adds up. Now, each of these people also need to bring in direct referrals on their left and right. So they are now going to take the next 2 spots. So you really need to plan very wisely who you place where. Okay, so let's talk about the dead weight first. One of the biggest mistakes that we make from the beginning in not being stingy enough with our first 10 levels positions is that we place small investors in our inside leg. Now what happens, I have 10 spots, of which 8 are either filled with non-builders or small investors. So what happened to me after month 2, I realized that my business was 19 levels deep. I only qualify for 10, and 9 of my 10 first referrals were dead weight. So the only person helping me build on my binary was actually number 10. But when that person builds, they build out of my 10 levels. So I was sitting with a very, very stagnant first 10 levels until I jumped in and I changed it. So when you have an investor coming in, say for instance, your first person that you bring in here is they're just an investor, maybe they're doing it just to support you or because they want the long-term growth, and they bring in really just their $200 and they're not planning on doing anything else. Now they've already taken up a spot in your first 10 levels, and we're being very stingy with these. What happens when the next investor comes in? That's only really going to invest $200 or $100 or $500 and let it sit there and never going to do anything else. Are you going to spend another spot in your first 10 levels on them, knowing that you only have 8 left? No, Definitely not. You are going to take that next investor that's just going to be dead weight in your network marketing business. Remember, MTI is an investment company first and foremost. So investors are our friends because they build our binary. They become dead weight when we have to carry them, and when we carry them, it was our own mistake. So in order not to have to carry this person along in your power leg, you're going to place the next investor also there. Yes, you're going to have to use that person's referral link. And yes, you will forfeit the roughly $20 worth of Bitcoin that you would have gotten. But that spot that this person did not take up is going to pay you much more in the long run. Okay, so you will still benefit from the binary of that you'll earn on this person's Bitcoin volume that they bring into in the leg, which will pay you a lot more in the long run than just the $20 that you would have earned off the direct. So now, say in the next month you get another 3 dead weight investors that are really not doing much for you. What are you going to do with them? You are going to put them. You're going to use this person's link and place them here, because they are going to, and you want them to be on $200 because we want P1s and P2s, right?
Just make that clear that these two are your direct referrals
Yes.
that you are giving away. That's what we're
Yes.
talking about. You're giving it away for somebody else. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, so you yourself are networking, and you come across more investors that you don't want to give away space in your first 10 or 20 levels if you've got $1,000 in your trading pool. You don't want to give away more spots to investors that you are networking. You give them away to this person. You're still their direct referral, and the relationship is still going to be with you. But placement in your business, you're going to use this link to place this person. Now, the next 2 investors that come along, you're going to use this person's link to place them left and right. Now, what have you achieved? Firstly, you've achieved saving a level in your first 10 levels. Secondly, you've achieved building your binary, okay, your binary volume in your first 10 levels. Thirdly, you have now achieved a P1 share for that person and a P2 share for yourself. Okay, so for this person to be able to earn a P1, obviously because they're an investor, you would have also placed a 200 there. So your first two investors, you're going to place under this person, making this a triangle, earning yourself a P1 there. Now that that's done, your next 2 investors, you're placing over there, making that person P1 qualified and getting yourself a P2. So just by giving away, you have now earned 4 streams of income out of the 5 by just sacrificing 1 that would have paid you once off. You're now earning, 3 streams of income. I shouldn't count the trading bonuses. So 3 streams of income off the networking side by just sacrificing 1. And these 3 streams of income, the one pays you for 8 weeks, this one pays to infinity, and binary pays to infinity. So you can see how in the long run, giving away 1, 2, 3, 4 has now actually earned you much more than the $20, $20, $20, $20 you would have earned by directly referring them, and saved yourself 4 spaces in your first 10 levels. Okay, so say for instance we get to this point. Now, don't get me wrong, you need direct referrals. You need to put as many of your directs in your first 10 levels as you possibly can. Why? Because you want to earn you want to be able to make placements under them to earn yourself the P1 and P2 shares. So don't only do 2 and let the rest fill up with these guys with spillover, because that would mean that your next direct, that would mean if you only had 2 here, that you can only earn 2 P1 and P2 shares, because you can only earn off directs. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So let's say you've now reached your 10 levels and all of these are full. And out of these 10 levels, 6 or 7 are your directs, and you have P1 and P2 P2'd every single one of them. And trust me, it takes a long time. I've spent 2 weeks now really grafting, bringing in people, and I've only been able to P1 and P2, I think 2 or 3 people, okay, which is fantastic because I've now earned myself a lot of money in the long run. And if I had placed them outside here, I would have lost a lot. So I hope my dad doesn't mind, but let me tell you why we're telling you this tonight. My dad is in a different team than I am. So I have very little insight into how he builds, and he lives in Pretoria, I live in Cape Town. So I have very little insight into his business. When they came down to Cape Town 3 weeks ago, we started talking business obviously more often, and I realized that he doesn't really have an idea what's going on in his business in terms of structure, where people are, Bitcoin volumes, who's in whose team, who's a P1, who's a P2, and also he only had 1 active P1 at the time. And I was like, what? With such a big team, how is it possible for you to only have 1 active P1? At the time, I had 8 active P1s. And a lot of them, you know, of my previous P1s had expired. So I thought, okay, let's draw the picture. So if you have not done this, I really suggest you do it. Go onto your back office, go to your team details, go to the binary genealogy tree, and take a big piece of paper and draw your business out for yourself. Because if you can't see your business like this, you're blind. And I can promise you, you've already lost money. And if you've not yet lost money, you're going to lose money. If you can't see your business and you can't literally go sit there and count out the levels and draw your little P1s and P2s, you're going to lose money. So spend the time. If you have a big team, it's going to take you a while. For me, it was easier because my entire structure is my own. So I know each one of them personally. So it didn't take me as long. And I'm glad I started in the beginning because now I have 430 people in my team. If I had to start drawing that now, it would have taken me a while. But still, even if it takes you a while, it's worth it. So that you can really go count out. So what I did on my one, I literally I drew out the levels up to level 60 where they are now, and I drew myself lines and I said, that's my level 10. So it's very visual for me that I shouldn't go past that. When I went to level 20, I drew the line. I said, that's level 20. So you know exactly where you are. Now, a lot of people wonder how to count out the levels. I was lucky, like I'm a very visual person. So I was lucky enough before the reports in the back office went offline, especially that first one, the total team members report. I wanted to draw my business and I couldn't really determine where the levels were. So one day I was scratching around on that report and I saw, hey, but there's a column that actually tells you where this person is. So the report is like the line, and then in the beginning it says, this is person number 15 in your team, but the right-hand side column tells you this person is level 7. So that helped me a lot when I actually went and counted out in my tree. Oh, this person is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on the report it says 7. Okay, so this is how it works. Then I thought, okay, so how do you count inside legs? How do you know who in your inside leg falls into, who in this inside leg falls into your first 10 levels? So you can really go dissect those first 10 levels. So how it works is you count from yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you get that and you draw a line for yourself. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You draw a line. So in the end, you can really go and say, okay, there is where my first 10 levels are. So everything I do, I must do in there. So I hope that makes sense, that if you count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's how you count the levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's how you go count and really go draw yourself a line so you can see exactly what you can do where. So when we had a look at my dad's business, one night I was like, listen, I'm so confused about your business now. We're going to sit down and we're going to draw this. So we took a big piece of paper and we started drawing it out. And what we realized is that my dad, who's making a ton of money already, has actually lost a ton of money because this was not taught to us. It wasn't taught to me either. It wasn't taught to George either. It wasn't taught to my dad either. Just because, you know, no one's really that long and empty-eyed to have figured it out up till now when we started. So what happened was my dad was, obviously after the direct referral commissions, I was after them too. That's how I ended up having to borrow Bitcoin for a while to get myself to the 20 levels so that I could earn off these people that I wasted outside my 10 levels. So what we realized is that my dad's actually now placed people outside of his 30 levels because he didn't know that. And when looking at my dad's structure, I could see that his upline, you know, 2-3 people in his upline were making placements way outside of their levels. So now this upline logs into their back office and they say, but how is it possible that I'm still only earning, I've got a team of 1,000 people, I'm still only earning binary off 12 Bitcoin. How is it possible? And then the very next day they go and they sign up 8 directs in their 50th level in their binary leg. What happens? Your binary leg volume grows, but you're not qualified to that level. So you get the direct referral, but you lose on the binary. And I mean, how long is it going to take you to get to the $10,000 trading pool volume so that you can actually earn off that person in your 50th level? Okay. So, there's another point that came up for me just now. Oh, something I want to tell you about the P1s and the P2s. When we go, I don't know, it's not really necessary to go back here, but let's do it. So a P1 and a P2 share, some of the benefits are, they don't choose legs. Okay. Number one, a P1 and a P2 share doesn't choose a leg. In other words, if this is your binary leg and you've got a direct in your power leg, like in my case, because I didn't have spillover, I built my entire 280 people in my power leg. I brought in, not personally, obviously me and my team, but I mean, none of them would have been there if it wasn't for me. I got no spillover. So it felt to me for a long time like I was forever going to lose the money on all of the directs that I had to put in my power leg in order for them to help me build a power leg, until I clicked that the P1 and the P2 shares don't choose legs. So I have now gone back and earned myself a P1 and a P2 share on most of my directs so far in my power leg. So even people in your power leg, you can earn P1 and P2 shares off them. So that is very powerful. Okay. Number 2 is they don't choose levels. Even if you did make the mistake of placing direct referrals outside of your 10 and your 20 and your 30 levels, you don't have to lose everything on them. You can still go back, help them, motivate them. Don't go place your own, don't go give away your own referrals. If you want to give away your own referrals, do it within your earning levels. Don't give away your own referrals outside of your earning levels, because that doesn't justify the P1 and the P2 share. But you can go to that direct and motivate them to get themselves leadership binary qualified so that you can earn a P1 and P2 off them, even though they're outside of your binary earning levels. Okay, so that's another big bonus. And then third, they're not capped. So we're all aiming for the $75,000 a week binary bonus, which is capped. So your binary, you can only ever earn that much. Even if you double that, you'll only ever earn that much. But your P1s and your P2s are not capped. So say you have 10 directs or 20 directs or 30 directs, and you have literally P1 and P2'd as many as possible of them. And you can now, you're really earning the maximum out of your first 10 or 20 or 30 levels. Now you can go ahead and get yourself, you know, after you've given away a ton of directs to build your first 20 levels volume as high as you possibly can. Now you can go and place another direct outside of your levels and say, okay, I've maximized. If this ever happens, please phone me. I would love to just speak to a person who can max out their first 10 or 20 levels. That would be the best business builder in the world. But once you've maxed out your first 10 or 20 or 30 levels, then you can go ahead and place another direct outside of those levels and P1 and P2 them. So to work yourself up to as high a P1 and P2 bonus per week as possible. So I think I've covered pretty much a lot of it, most of it. Are there any questions at this stage? Maybe you want to give a scenario that we can discuss, where to place who? I'm going to give you 2 seconds. I have something else that I would like to add, but I'll give you guys 2 seconds for questions so far.
We can also mention
So,
that.
Yes?
Kan ek maar praat? Can I go ahead?
Yes.
It's Jake Pretoria speaking.
Yes.
I placed my son,
Yes.
in my mind, I placed him on the wrong side
Okay.
of the triangle, because I now have a skewed triangle. I was supposed to place him, let's say, left, and I put him right. So I've got one-on-one there with nothing on the other side. How do I correct that?
So in other words, you wanted to do 1 left, 1 right, and now you've got 2 right.
Correct.
Okay. So has he funded his account yet?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, well, it's not the end of the world. This week I had a situation where one of my investors withdrew all of his money, and he's not going to get back involved with MTI. He's gotten involved with another investment with friends of his. So I said to him, listen, your account's going to sit there dormant now. So do you mind if I use it? And he said, yes, fine. So he emailed MTI and he changed the email address to my email address. And he gave me the login details. I logged in, I went to the profile, I changed all of the details to my friend's name, who's now taken over that position. I changed all the details to my friend's name, and now the only step that I still need to do is email support and ask them to change the username, if I think that's possible. Yeah, I think it's possible. So what I would suggest is have your son register another account in the other side, P2P, just use a different username, P2P all of his Bitcoin over to that account, and keep the account here. The next person you register in your right side, just give them that account. Have your son email support, change the email address to the new person's email address, and that person can take over that account. This will only be possible before the FICA and KYC process happens, because obviously when the FICA or KYC process is in place, you'd have to send the documents that correlate with the name in the back office. So before that process is in place, I think you can just kind of have someone else take over that account in time. But I want to just, this is just the way my head works. It's not necessarily right or wrong. The way my head works is that you want to keep the money in the family kind of thing. So it's like with a husband and wife, I always say this is you, and you want to do your first left and your first right, and obviously now you've got your son and your wife, for instance. You want to earn binary off your own family's money. So my suggestion to people, I don't know if you're necessarily a builder or only an investor, my suggestion to builders is put other people's money. You know, like money you're not emotionally connected to, in your power leg, because you'll never earn binary off that. But of course, along the way, you're going to help your son possibly. You're going to put your own money in your wife's account. You might help your daughter get started, whatever. Keep your own money in the leg where you're going to earn binary off it. So I would say, you know, it's up to you how you do this, but I would keep your son there possibly and just get someone else to take that position. But if your son take that position, I mean, you're not necessarily going to lose much off it. It's just, I like to keep families kind of earning off each other, but that would be possible for you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
cool, big pleasure.
Lizaan, there's Jenny raised her hand, so I'm just going to ask her to unmute. Jenny?
Okay.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to ask, okay, I call it my spillover leg. So generally your spillover leg is going to be your power leg, your stronger leg. Okay, mine did a swap. Yes. So my spillover leg is now my weakest, but theoretically I should actually still be building on my other leg, which is my strong leg at the moment, but at some stage it will be my weaker leg again.
Yeah, see, the thing is, it does happen, especially if you're obviously a strong builder or you happen to network a strong builder into your inside leg, and that actually takes over in volume. So your choice is either, the problem with, I don't know what happened with you when you swapped. Were your earnings better on this side, or were your earnings better on the inside leg?
Well, I had an investor, and she came in with more money and she recruited. That's why it swapped. So my spillover leg is now my weaker.
let me explain what I mean by this. When my business swapped, this is actually, it's going to really demonstrate why I'm so passionate about what I teach here. I was placed on an inside leg. Okay, so my upline is over there. So I was placed in the inside leg and I built here. Because I put so much energy in here, because I expected spillover from my upline, I only put a few people in here and then started building here because now I'm obviously waiting for spillover, but I am monitoring the volumes, right? So then I placed in my 3rd or 4th level, I placed a person here who immediately brought in 5 or 6 Bitcoin, okay? Which obviously, because I'm not getting spillover, meant that my outside leg was also now my weakest leg. The problem is that I never knew what I was doing when I was making these placements. So my outside leg had a lot of people in it and a lot of volume in it still. I mean, it was like 6 or 8 Bitcoin at the time. This one had overtaken, I think it was standing on 10 Bitcoin. So even though I had 6 or 8 Bitcoin at the time in this leg, a lot of that volume was under my 10 levels. So I was only earning off 3 or 4 Bitcoin, okay? When my business swapped over, this person had brought in so much volume within the first 10 levels, not even 20 levels, that I literally earned double when I swapped. The Bitcoin volume was almost equal, but the difference is where that volume lies. In this side, most of the volume lay outside of my levels. This side, all of the volume was inside my 10 levels. So my binary bonus per week doubled, okay? So the position that you're in now, you have to decide, are you happy with the qualified levels, with the amount of Bitcoin in your qualified levels on the side that you are now? Or were you happier with the amount of Bitcoin in the qualified levels on the other side? Because if you're actually earning more on this side, then keep it that way for a while, okay? You know, it's not a bad thing necessarily, except that you're not providing more spillover for your inside leg now while you're not buying there, which is also something to consider. Okay, but it does happen. What happened to you does happen. Your only option here is to either check in with the people in your power leg and see who's doing what. Has anyone actually got any worthwhile investments coming in to build the volume here? Or are you going to have to go look for a strong builder to place in your own power leg, even though you're not going to be earning binary off them, but they will again enable you to earn binary off your inside leg? Okay, does that make sense? Because sometimes we have to go and actually reinvest some effort and time and a member into our own power leg, even though it's not going to pay you directly, but it will enable you to earn off the other side.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. What's nice when you yourself are a big investor and you have an account, say this is you, and you have an account there and there under your own control. Like I have my kids, I have one there and one there. When my volumes shift a little bit and when they become close to swapping and I don't want them to swap, I can actually move Bitcoin around between my two legs to manipulate the balances so that I can earn where I want to earn. Okay, next question. Pleasure.
Lizaan, Ingi made a statement actually that she thought she could not change a username, but it's not true, Ingi. You can change a username, but you have to send back office an email to request that, and they have to change it. All right. So if you do that, you can still change a username. All right. Am I right?
Thank you, George.
Yes. So are there any more questions? I have one more thing to add if there aren't any more questions, but I'm like open for more. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to say.
Sorry, one question. Sorry. Hi.
Yes.
Hi, it's Ian here. Hi. Good evening.
Hi.
Can you have more than one position yourself?
No. So you can have one for yourself, one for a trust, and one for a company. So anything that is a legal person can have one account each, because when the FICA or KYC process comes along, you're going to have to FICA that account. So if you've already FICA'd one, then the other one you can't. So only one per person. So that's why, but you can register minors. Like I'm unmarried and like single and with whatever, all of my friends are already MTI members. So I registered my kids. So you can register a minor, and then you can FICA them or KYC them as their legal guardian or their parent. So if that's maybe an option for you. Otherwise, you can just ask a friend or a family member if you can use their name if they're not interested in using it.
Very much.
Okay, any more?
I don't
Cool.
see anything in chat box neither, Lizaan.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. Awesome,
So
guys.
guys, pretty much what I want to just end off with is I'm not by any means the guru on this, but I do believe, having heard from other people, other teams, other team leaders, other, newbies learning from their team leaders, I do believe that I have a very good understanding of this. I do believe that I have a lot to learn from the Sherrys and the Clintons and the people who actually built this thing. But this is really changed my business, and I believe that this is the secret. And the thing is that you want your downline so the reason why we duplicate this building method into our downlines is because I want my downline to optimally earn. Because if my friend wants to go full-time in MTI and I don't teach her right, she's going to put a hell of a lot of effort in it, not actually earn enough money to go full-time, and then I lose a builder. So you want to really help your downline through teaching them this, and this is why this is also recorded so we can share it out. But each situation is going to be different. So I want to really motivate you to go draw out your business and really get to the nitty-gritties of team management. A lot of us go into management mode. In other words, like I've now automated my income. It's running and the team leaders can do their job and I'm going to sit back and earn. Chances are you're losing money through doing that. Building an MTI business, building a network marketing business for that matter, MTI pays us a lot more, a lot quicker than a lot of other networking opportunities that I've been involved in. So we can earn a lot quicker than in other places. But you are going to lose money if you step down from the nitty-gritty hard work too soon. The better you can teach your downline to do the nitty-gritties, and the sooner you can teach them to do the nitty-gritties, then you can kind of take a step back. But while this is not being duplicated, we can't step back because you're going to lose money. You're not even going to know that you're losing money if you don't do this. So I really want to motivate you. Go draw out your business. Each new person that comes in is going to be a different case. So the way I used to place people is just like, send them your right link, send them your left link, send them your auto link. I don't care as long as they come in. Now, when I do placements, I get out my big piece of paper. It's as big as the back of my bedroom door, okay? I get out my big piece of paper, close the bedroom door, go stand there, and I go, look, where does this person go? And you really go pick a place. Because now, for instance, an investor comes in. That you can place anywhere, help someone get a P1 or P2. But now you get a big builder. Now, I don't want directs, okay? So my power legs are full right now, okay? Both of my legs are power legs. They're full. There's no more place within my earning levels. I'm not stupid enough to go place someone outside of my earning levels, which means I'm going to have to place them in an inside leg of another account, okay? But now I have to go see where to place this builder, because placing them in an inside leg means that they're not going to get spillover if I don't give them spillover. So what I've done is I've nominated 3 accounts in my right leg, in my not right leg, in my binary leg, in my weak leg, my inside leg. And I am building teams. As I would have built for myself, I'm building teams for those profiles. One is a really good friend of mine. The other are 2 really deserving older couples that I just want to help retire. So by giving away, by building them a team, I am losing absolutely nothing. Maybe P1s, but I've P1'd and P2'd them, and they're building my binary, and I'm helping them retire. They're in situations where they can't build their own businesses. So I've nominated them, and I'm building in there. So I've because you don't want to put a builder in a dead inside leg. So I've put my builders there and I've placed other builders under them to build. So I've basically started over building brand new businesses, and the kick I get out of it is massive. I think you can see the smile on my face. I'm so passionate about this. But yeah, really go sit when you get new people into your business, and when your downline gets a new person, put in the effort and have a Zoom call with them. Have them, so my downline, what they do, they know if they want to talk to me about a placement, they have to phone me after they sent me a picture of their business. Don't ask me where to place this person if you have not drawn me a picture exactly with how your business looks, including the Bitcoin volume in the important legs. Then phone me when I have a picture in front of me and I can help you look at your structure, the Bitcoin volumes, and then we can discuss where to place this person that's going to be most beneficial for all of us. So it sounds like a lot of work, and frankly, it is a little bit of admin, but I promise you the rewards are going to be worth it. Okay. So that's it from me, guys. Are there any questions that have come up till now?
Yeah, Laura, Johan Dievenage speaking. Please, can I just ask the question, if you have an upline that's not active, and you obviously you own the two positions below you, then it is in your interest to build it yourself, then to just go left, right, and see the Bitcoin values and manage that as best as you can.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much where I was too. You have no other option really than to build yourself. You know, like I would still suggest doing it like me. Like if you get one builder, put him this side. The next builder you put on this side, because you want these legs to grow together, so that at least from as soon as possible you can start earning some binary. Unfortunately, like I was, and hopefully not you, but yeah. Unfortunately, you're not going to earn optimal binary. It's just one of those things. You ended up in an inside leg. Your upline is not active. You know, I hope they have a cramp, frankly, because it's super unfair. But it is quite liberating. If any of you know Peter Miller, I spoke to Peter Miller in April. We had a Zoom just to meet, like, hey, I'm Lizaan, hey, I'm Peter, and we talked a bit about the business. And he said to me, how's your business doing? And I explained to him that this was my situation. He said to me, Lizaan, don't worry. I ended up in the inside leg of a non-builder, and I'm earning X amount. It was in the a lot of figures. You know, I'm earning X amount per month now after 5 months, and I did it myself, and it's quite liberating. So, I mean, if it wasn't for Peter giving me that, I would have felt very sorry for myself, but I actually felt so inspired by what he'd achieved. So it is possible. You want to grow those legs equally. Put a business builder on this side, business builder on this side, investor this side, investor this side, you know, build them equally so that you really earn optimally, still having a power leg. And really, because I did that, but I didn't control what I did here. Eventually I controlled what I did here, but my first 10 or 20 levels here are pathetic. So you want to keep equal control, but you're going to have to build both sides.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Big pleasure.
George, can I ask something?
Can Dot?
I just want to know the spillovers that you get. Well, I call it the left leg, which is basically the leg that's been built on my upline. You can't really do anything with them, can you?
No, you can't. You can't earn off them, but they enable you to earn off the other side. So they mean absolutely nothing to you except that they contribute to the Bitcoin volume in your strong leg, so that you have, you know, to offset on the weak leg on. So that's literally all they mean to you, is a strong power leg. It means, you know, it's such a privilege. Like, I don't think people realize what a privilege it is. It's not really a privilege. I think in network marketing, it's kind of a right to have a power leg. You're underprivileged if you don't have a power leg. But from my perspective, I always tell my team, like, do you appreciate the power leg that you have? Because if I was able, let me just give you an idea, that power leg that you have, if I had a power leg, I would have been earning literally 4 times what I'm earning now. I would have been over 100,000 Rand a month, far over 100,000 Rand a month, if I could earn on all the Bitcoin that I brought in. And the only reason I'm earning a quarter of what I should be earning is because 3/4 of my Bitcoin volume is building my own power leg. So if you're in a power leg and you see that one side of your business grow like this, thank your lucky stars. You are in a sweet spot and you're crazy if you're not making the most of it.
Yes, unfortunately, they're not doing much.
Yeah, but at least, you know,
Tagging the spots.
yeah, taking up the spots. But yeah, I mean, if you, at least you had that to give you a kickstart, and probably if they're not doing much, you're going to end up in a situation where you're going to have to place a builder in that leg just to give yourself a leg up again on the binary side.
Okay, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Lizaan, and what they can also do, if you've got people there that is not building, you can always put people there and just make a deal with them with the commissions. If there's any commissions, you can also do that. But you can also put people in that place there. You can put a personal in there like you've done at the top levels as well.
Yeah, that's what I meant by placing a builder there. That's it. That's exactly what I mean. So you can, because obviously on that side, you still have access to that. So if your left leg is your spillover leg and it's becoming weak, then your next business builder or a next big investor, it doesn't have to be a builder, it could also be a big investor, but whatever is going to be a substantial amount of Bitcoin in the end, you can just refer with your left referral link. They will obviously go to the bottom of that line and up the Bitcoin volume in that leg.
Yes,
Awesome.
I know for a fact that my other side is going to bring in 2 Bitcoins. So I'm
So then you're going to flip
confused.
over and you don't want to do that.
Where should I build?
Yeah, as I would suggest you go out and you look for a big investor, like focused, look for a big investor or look for a builder to place there, because that's going to save your bum in the binary in the short and long term.
Thank you.
Cool, guys. Anything else?
No, I think, Lizaan, we're over the hour already, and I don't see any more questions. I see a lot of remarks and stuff. But I just want to say from my side, awesome thanks for you and your dad as well, Johan, for preparing this. And I know it's been a lot of work. I've done mine, and it's a hell of a lot of work, I promise you. So those people that still have to do it, you can go and try it. It takes about two to 3 days to put out your weak lake on paper. So it really is.
For me, it was easy, George. I say this easily because I only have my own team. So when I drew out my whole business, it was only like 100 people. So you have thousands. So yeah, I take my hat off to you for actually completing that task.
So that is a big job if you've got quite a few people. So, but just do it. It's an awesome thing, and we didn't know this in the beginning. And this is going to make a big difference. So I'm going to start building in my qualified legs now as well, and put people in there so I can get my binaries and my P1s up on that as well. Guys, thank you very much for attending tonight, and Lizaan and Johan for doing the presentation as well, and your preparation. I thank you a lot for that, and everybody that attended, taking time out to look at your business. I think this was very important tonight, and I wish you a very, very nice evening going forward, and let's build this business. That's what we have to do. Okay.
Cool. Good night, guys. Thank you, George.
Thanks, George.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Lizaan, thanks for your
Fantastic presentation.